It's Shanghai, China tonight, and I'm back. Wasn't here last week. It's Killer Blue, and I am joined by, once again, or not once again, but once again in the commentary box, it's Auto Gear Nolan. How are you, Jack?
Hello, hello. I'm good. They've got me back for whatever reason.
I don't understand it myself. I'm not sure how you've blagged your way into another go in the commentary box, but I'm excited to have you here. Never commentated alongside you before. And we've got 16 drivers competing for the victory today, of course, as ever, feature race and sprint race, with one shot qualifying to start. Our second man in the championship, Rocky Road, isn't here today, so there's a big chance for Prima Man VTI Doc to get a big lead in the championship. He already has, I think, a 9-point lead. So we'll look to see if he can extend that here today. Yes, 76 points for Doc, 67 for Raccoon, Entui Dab Nunez on third on 58, Cali in fourth on 54, Jeroen Visser on 53. So very close in that battle for third, but Doc has a huge chance today to extend his lead. Who is your money on? Is it on Doc, or are you going to go somewhere else?
See, interestingly, looking at last season, Doc also won China in Formula 2 Division 2 last season. So he'd be a good shout. However, Jordan qualified second, if I remember. So Jordan could be an underdog.
Yeah, I think Jordan is a really good shout. Who are we going to go on board with for quali? Let's go on board with the Prima Man, VTI Dog, if I can find him on... Oh, that's Ibo. So take us through a lap of this track, Jack. What does it take to excel around Shanghai? We're on board with Serial Killer.
It takes relentless aggression, mate. I think the thing about this track, especially with these cars, even in an F1 car, this car's very understeery. So
Yeah.
in these F2 cars as well, especially going, see through this section, you can pretty much go flat out in an F1 car. You've got to let off a lot.
These fast sweeping corners, the car just wants to wash across the track, and it's very hard to get it to grip. The car you always want more from the car than it's willing to give. I said at Brazil, and what have you just seen there?
Looking at the top two people, the ones that we've just mentioned, Jordan and Doc, they keep switching first and second.
So yeah, at the moment of going into sector 3 onto the back straight, this is an awful corner, turn 12 it is. I said the car just wants to wash wide. We've got Doc, currently fastest driver, from Jordan, from Giron, but there's nothing they can do now down this straight. It's just a long haul, that car dragging its way down towards the hairpin of 14. There is actually a little corner on the exit, turn 15, it counts as a corner. Not sure why, just a little kink. You want to slow the car down into second gear, hook it up. Serial Killer takes the apex nicely, runs a little bit too wide, more curb than he needs, and Jordan has slipped down into fourth place. Now you want to fling it into the final corner. Could have taken a bit more. Again, the car wants to run wide. It's compromised its exit a little bit, but it's Giron on pole with a 145.28. Doc on a 364, Jordan on a 542, and then we've got Jordan and the Tim split by 5 thousandths of a second. But yes, our championship leader not on pole. We've got someone else at the top today, and we'll just quickly run through the order. So it's Giron on pole for Dams, followed by Doc for Prima, Jordan third, Ryan fourth, to Tim fifth, Passemois is sixth, Lars seventh, Cali eighth, N2E Dab Nunez, the guy third in the championship is in P9, Maverick 10th, Killer 11th. He's I love everyone called Killer, great name. Polizzi Alex is 12th, Jav is 13th, VAR Hayden is 14th, Philippi is 15th, Ibo is 16th with, I'm not sure what happened to him, but he's 8.8 seconds off pole position. So we've got quite the field spread there, but the top 5 split by 4 tenths per second, which, given the spread you see in these F2 cars, is quite close. Who are you feeling for the race after that qualifying session?
Well, quite. I feel like we've been a bit disrespectful not mentioning Jerome there, because last week, you weren't here obviously, but he got a second and a first place. So he looked really strong. It was very overcast. Jordan. I'm still going to go with Jordan. I think he had a bad run out of the hairpin, which lost him about 3 positions that quality lap, so I'm thinking he still has it.
I want to go with Giroud because, as you said, he had a very good week last week. And I know in F1 he's finding his feet more and more as the season goes on in Division 3. I think he could be the one to beat. He's obviously certainly got the upper hand to start with. I think it's all about who gets into turn one first out of him and Doc. I say whoever gets there first, I think, is where I want to lean. There's not too many strategy options in F2, of course. It's soft to hard or hard to soft. So yeah, it's all about that drag down to turn one, I think. But then again, I know from commentating on Division 3, you never want to count all of your eggs, because these races are so variable. So let's have a look at the starting tyres then. We have everybody in the top 5 on softs. Passez-moi and Dan Nunes, the only guys on mediums of the top 10. Maverick, Serial Killer and Polizzi Alex on softs, and then the back 4, Jav, Hayden, Philippi and Ibo on mediums. What strategy would you be fancying, Jack? Where would you be going if this is you? And in fact, this will be you in an hour and a half's time. So
I think if you want to go in for the win, if you're starting at the front, you're going to want to start on the quickest tyres. I think if you're, for me personally, say how Paddle is in 6th place, if you're between 6th and say maybe 12th, 13th, medium to soft, going for maybe reverse grid pole would be the good shout. I think the one main issue with the mediums is turn 1 can get quite contested in the first lap. If you get damage, you've got no option but to either stay out or do a 2-stop.
Yeah, that's always the risk with the alt strat, that the damage the first lap, a mistake the first lap, and you're much more compromised than you would be if you were starting on the softs, because you have to make that tight last, or you have to 2-stop. And these races are not long enough for a 2-stop to be effective at all. You need a safety car. We have to pray for a safety car if that happens to you. So yeah, I think I'd always go softs. I mean, I never did last season in Division 1. I always went, or tended to go for the alt strategy, just for something, in the hopes that something would happen. But if you're at the front, as you say, I think you have to go softs. There's not really too much of another option there, as we've got, I think this is quite a fast formation lap. Jerome struck out quite a lead over VTI Doc. He's slowing down now though. We've got a huge gap between Dab Nunes and Maverick that will quickly close up. So just coming around turn 14 now. Have you got any last words, Jack, before lights are out?
Well, I'm thinking, just for a bit of fun before this starts, I want you to try pronounce 6th place name perfectly.
Passez-moi du sel stup. I don't know. It's French, so I think I've got the first bit down-ish. Is Hayden and Philippi come together. They're disqualified right at the end of the formation lap, so their tyres will be cooling a little more than would be ideal, as now everybody comes into position, and we will very shortly be underway. So we have a green
lights at any moment.
We have a green flag waving in the background. And it's Giron on your right, Doc on your left. We have 3, 4, 5 lights. And it is lights out in Shanghai, and Giron gets a very good start, but Jordan's got an amazing start. He's right between the two leaders, and he sailed into turn 1 in the lead. I said about would Doc or Jerome get there first. It's Jordan in the UNI who's got there. I can't, this stream is playing up with who it's letting me show, but yes, Jordan in the lead. He's clearly out ahead of Doc. Jerome down to 3rd place. They're switching in the midfield. We've got side by side between Callie and Lars in towards turn 6. It's the UNI that comes out on top, and Jerome has a little look at VTI. Callie goes really deep on Ryan. Ryan holds on to P4. Callie compromised on the exit. He's now slips back into P6. And Passez-moi has dropped down massively. Wasn't he starting 6th place? He's now down to 12th.
Yeah,
and,
I was having a look at the back of the field whilst you were looking at the front, and Dab Nunes and Passe had a collision going into turn 1, and he went very, very wide off track.
It's very unfortunate. Then we've got a Carlin going very wide. I think that's Londa Tim was sliding off at turn 11, and everyone's just looking for any sniff of a chance they can get on this first lap, because any positions you can pick up now will be really beneficial later. But Jerome's gone very wide through 13, and that put Ryan on his heels, but it's given him the wider line down straight. He's got that, and we've got Jordan and Doc are slipstreaming each other. Everyone's just trying to grab a toe down this straight, and you'd think this is the start finish. And Doc is having a look down the inside. He wants that position back that he lost off the line. He's up the inside. Jerome very interested as well. But Jordan is just holding on for now, but we'll see how much confidence these guys have. Who is the one that wants to win this race? Doc, of course, leading the championship with his rival out of sight in this race. You have to think he wants to hold on to the position as much as he can, and we've got... the timing tower is... Yeah. I'm not used to directing stream, but we have got damage. Polizzi Alex has half a front wing, his front right end plate. He's missing, not sure where he lost that, and we'll go back to the battle at the front as Doc and Jordan are side by side out of turn 4. Has Doc got a run on him through 5? Jordan is leaving eons of space up the inside, and Doc helps himself to it. Jordan will take the wide line, trying to straighten the car back up quickly as he can, and he has taken the lead back. I think this could be a battle we're going to see all race long, and Doc taps the back of Jordan. And has that caused the Premium Man any damage whatsoever? We'll have a look at where the close battles are on track, but they're all at the front. What are you going to say, Jack, there?
I don't think there's any damage on the front 4, and it's looking like these front 3 at the moment are... I mean, we've got Ryan sitting behind, but the front 3 look like the people that are probably going to be battling for most of this race.
I think you're right. I think Doc, Jerome, Jordan, they all look like, well, yeah, you say the front 4's broken away, but the front 3 especially, they all seem very interested in each other's gearboxes. And Doc, has he got a run on Jordan down the straight? No DRS, of course, on this, the second lap. I just looked back from the Pre-Man. It's tucked me down the field. Thank you, Codemasters. But here we go. Has Doc got the run? He's having the look, but he doesn't go deep enough. Jerome goes way too deep. Caught up on the grass there. He had to get himself out of it and stays in third.
Ryan's going to get him, I think.
Yeah, he's got to hang on to the inside line through the last corner. Ryan's going to have a much cleaner line up onto the pit straight. Here we go.
I think Jerome's got very lucky that DRS isn't activated this lap.
If it was, he would... I think that position would be goodbye. But he just hangs on to the podium place. But Ryan switches back very nicely through 2. And then we've got the little dart down to 3. Ryan's going to be on the outside, but he'll get that car straightened quicker. Jerome just tries to run him wide. We've got Maverick and Serial Killer fighting as well further down. But Jerome puts his car in all the right places of the tarmac there, and that is third place still for the Dams Man. And we'll have a look at Maverick and Serial Killer. They are side by side into turn 6. Maverick in the other high tech, of course, with Ryan being his teammate, just holding it round the outside. He'll try and switch back, but nothing going there. So these medium runners aren't faring too well, are they, in these first few laps? 5 of the back 6.
It's strange to think that the soft tyres, they are the ones that go off quite quick, so you'd expect at the end of this lap, starting the next lap, the mediums to actually start to get the advantage, but they seem to still be struggling quite a lot.
Yeah, Nunez is doing well to hang on to Lars, but yeah, Passez-moi, everyone else not made any progress on the mediums. And I think everybody in that front 5 is just about DRS. Jerome has dropped out now, but I think he was within a second of the detection point. We'll see in a moment. I think we're going to see a change of hands for the lead as well as VTI Doc. And there's no Urs, of course, in F2. I don't think Jordan has anything to defend with. He'll move to the left-hand side of the track to take the optimum line. Forces Doc to take a tight line through the corner, but that is textbook from Doc. Jordan's got nothing to fight back with, and Jerome just hangs on from Ryan as well. And we've got Serial Killer and Maverick at it again. And Passez-moi's getting in there as well. They're side by side into the last corner.
Jordan come back now. This is the problem. When you make the move on the hairpin, there's a DRS zone straight afterwards, and sometimes it is better to actually let the person pass as they're side by side now.
Yeah, we've got Doc and Jordan. You can go, there's so many lines through turns 1 and 2 and 3. It's so easy to run side by side through there, and Doc is now into the lead ahead of the UNI. We've got Polizzi Alex into the pits. I think he started on soft, so he's going to switch to the mediums now. And yeah, we've got this nice little battle at the front, haven't we? This top 4, and then we've got another one being a little train being headed up by Maverick of Passez-moi, Serial Killer, and Jav as well as Passez-moi gives Maverick a little tap through turn 6, and Philippi picks up the first penalty of the race. But I think that mistake that Jerome made on lap 2, where he just tried a little bit too hard into the hairpin, went deep, caught himself on the grass. It's just handed the initiative, I think, to Ryan as he runs very wide out of the double right-hander there. That is not going to do him any favours. But Ryan will not be thinking about an overtake there. He'll just be setting himself up to get the best exit possible through turn 12 and onto the back straight. He'll want everything exactly where he wants it. If he can get the perfect line and get the perfect exit, this place could be his. But again, it's that DRS train, isn't it? Giron is protected by Jordan in front of him, and Doc is now out of DRS from Jordan. So actually, Ryan was looking at Jordan.
Got an incredible run.
Yeah, Giron is now through on Jordan into P2. Jordan will be feeling deja vu as he loses a place in the exact same way he did before. Maybe a second. A big squirm for Giron. A bigger moment for Ryan. He's completely up on the grass. And De Tim is through into fourth. And we have a pitter.
Jordan's gone really deep. Really. Oh, we almost went into the wall going into the pit there.
There's too much going on here for me to follow. Division 2 are on a madness right now, but Jordan is our first to lead us to pit, and we've got Maverick side by side with Passé Moir into turn 1. Another DRS overtake. Is the Dams Frenchman going to fight that out? He is. His mediums will be starting to come towards him now versus the softs. Maverick has the inside line all the way through 1 and 2, but it'll switch to the Dams for 3. Thanks to that laggy desync, he's bobbing all over the track, and they're going to be side by side. Maverick squeezes him as much as he can. Oh, sorry, Passé squeezes him, but Maverick now has the inside line for 6. And Jav is getting a very good view of this too. He goes very deep himself. He's got a serial killer on his inside as the two ARTs fighting out, and it's Passé Moir and Maverick are still side by side through turn 7.
This isn't helping Passé Moir at all, because that Maverick is on the soft tyres, and the mediums by now will be a lot faster.
Yeah, absolutely right. Passé Moir now 3 seconds behind Nunes, who's on the same strategy. So it was great racing, but it's cost him a lot. And Maverick gets a penalty for running wide. And speaking of Nunes, he is shaping up a move on Calais here, I think. I'm not sure if Calais has just nicked DRS off Lars in front of him in the BWT branded car, but we'll see.
I tell you what, looking at how this is going at the pace of these softs, Jordan might have pulled off a great move pitting early.
I think you could be right, and sorry, just to cut across you, Ryan passes Tim, but goes deep. Is Tim going to try and fight that back? The Carlin slips in behind, and all of our soft leaders are pitting now. Everyone's coming in, and Nunes will take a lead in this race. That's very deep, and he's been passed by Lars into the pit lane. Rookie error. Lars had an opportunity, and he did a Sebastian Vettel there coming in, and now London Tim has a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Could you cock up pit entry any more than that? I don't think so. The Carlin man, don't bleep me, the Carlin man has cost himself, well, that could cost him 3-4 places come the end of the race with that penalty. He won't be able to serve it, of course. So it'll be applied at the end of the race, and everyone who started on softs, apart from Maverick, has come in now. So
did Maverick stay out thinking he might double stack with Ryan? Because we know the pit stops take a lot longer in Formula 2, and a double stack can cost you so much time.
I think you are absolutely right, and we've got a spin. Verheiden has spun coming out of turn 6. He's dropped it on throttle. He's got some front wing damage as well. I'm not sure I did that. He's quite a way up that run towards turn 7, but yeah, well, that's done his race no favours, and given he's yet to pit, I think that's cost him massively. But we've got a fight between our net leaders, and Giron and VTI Doc are going for it through turn 7, and Giron just slips up the inside, and he's back into... Oh, sorry, he's passing Jordan. Jordan passing Jordan. Yeah, I just see the red car, and I just completely had a mind blank. You're absolutely right.
VTI Doc, then, that means he has done really well to because he had older tyres, and he has really pulled away from Giron and Jordan then.
He's got a huge undercut as Ibo goes straight over the apex of turn 11. Yeah.
Hard to think he's getting out of the way there. He's been, you know what he's like, Ibo. He likes to get out of people's way.
Classic Ibo. He's doing his best to not inconvenience Doc. And we'll see now, can Jordan get a run back on the dams of Giron? Yeah, Giron's scampered away in just one sector there, hasn't he? As Maverick does now come into the pits, and Ryan, he's hanging on to the back of this group very well, isn't he, Ryan? Even if Doc's got away, he definitely looks like he's in this race. We know Ryan is quick in F2, And also, I think Jerome had a very poor hairpin because Jordan is now all over him, and we've seen a few penalties pop up now, including one for Jerome, and it's about to be double pain for him, for the Dams driver. I think he's got nothing to defend with, and here comes Jordan. Is he going to send it around the outside? He is. Awful camera view, thank you, Codemasters, but they're nip and tuck, and this could even give Ryan the incentive to get through up into a net podium place, and Jordan's just tapping the inside rear wheel of Giron. It costs him a little bit of speed, and
I'm sticking with Ryan at the moment. He's not seeming too eager to get past at the moment. I think he could be waiting for penalties or mistakes.
I speak of the devil. Penalty for Jordan. Giron got one last lap. Jordan's got one this lap. Ryan will be, I like to say, counting his lucky stars. This has gone very nicely for him indeed. He is now up to P2, and even Verheiden could get in the way of things here. Yet to pit, he's not, of course, going to get blue flag. This is a battle for position, but he gets straight out of the way, like his teammate Ibo would have done, and this battle can continue on to the back straight. And you have to wonder, they're so close together. Could Giron even lose 2 places at the hairpin?
Well, I'm thinking the second DRS zone is very important here. So if you get past, we've seen it a few times, especially on lap 1. If you get past on this straight, they get a chance straight back on you on the main straight.
And I've seen as well, Giron is doing some very extreme defending here. He always pulls to the extreme right of the track, and then he'll shape left to right, do a bit of weaving, in tribute to XL Gary from Season 3 at Mexico. And that was before your time, Jack. It was an iconic League of Europe moment,
Yeah,
never forgotten. But Ryan got a really good run out of the hairpin and off the corner. Jordan has DRS, so I don't think Ryan will have anything to fight with. But Ryan is looking really good here. If he just gets a bit of luck, if Jordan makes a little mistake, and he nearly did that, I think he dipped a wheel on the grass. He's taken a really wide line through 1 and 2, and
he's got him on the inside, I think.
But I think Jordan's got the inside line back for turn 3 and 4. I'll say 3 and 4. It's effectively just one long corner, and then Ryan is just pushed out to dry. And there's
just
nothing.
A showcase of the lap times of VTI Doc at the front here. These 3 drivers fighting for second were getting high 49s that last lap, and Doc just set the fastest lap of the race with a 48.0.
He's in a race of his own right now, isn't he? Giron has broken away a little bit, so I think that what was a 4-way battle was reduced to a 3-way battle, and now it could be a 2-way battle between Jordan and Ryan. Ryan will be conscious, actually, of that penalty for Giron. He can't afford to languish behind. He can't afford to languish behind the Dams for too long. Oh, sorry, behind the UNI. Otherwise, Giron will be out of sight. And we just saw Callie getting past Hayden. I'm surprised, actually, Callie, that he's not close to this leading group. Same with the Tim. They had very quietly impressive races at Brazil in round 1. Not too sure about round 2, but yeah, we've got this breakaway group of 4. I'm a bit disappointed that we're not seeing more closer racing as Ryan has the run on Jordan. He has a wiggle and he says, "Excuse me, thank you. I'm taking that position. Farewell, Auf Wiedersehen." And Ryan B is up into, well, he was already in a net P2 with the penalties, but he's up into a net P3 on track, but runs wide at the last corner. Is that going to be a warning? Is it a penalty? Not on this occasion, but Ryan showing a hint of vulnerability there with that mistake. It may well have kept him in P7, actually, but because had he tried to force himself on track, Jordan might have had the chance to get back through.
Yeah, definitely, and once again, Doc's just really showcasing that he's in a league of his own at the moment. A 47.7. That is 1.5 seconds faster than the second place runner, Jerome.
He's just getting quicker, isn't he? He's just building in confidence, building in speed through this stint. I've noticed that with F2, that you really feel the tyres come towards you as the race goes on, as Ibo and Hayden continue to slip back through the field. Ibo being passed by Lars Nguat, or however that is pronounced. I apologise if I butchered it. But yeah, VTI Doc, his lead is now 4.1 seconds over Giron. It is literally building corner by corner. And the battle between Jordan and Ryan looks to have tapered off a little bit. Ryan is comfortably ahead of the UNI, and he's out of DRS range briefly. We'll see if it stays that way down the straight. But even if it doesn't, and it is over a second. I think Jordan might be struggling more on these tyres than his competitors because he had that cracking start, didn't he, into the lead. But now this race is just falling away from him a little bit, but it's coming towards Ryan B, who is he's gliding up to the back of Giron, isn't he? He's got some serious pace.
Like he's on for a second place here. If he can avoid the penalties, I've seen Giron a few times run wide and have to slow down to avoid a warning.
He's going to get a really good chance into turn one here if he can just line up his exit. I think Giron showed a lot more bravery going through there. He used much more of the track, and medium runners are starting to come in now. The N2E duo of Dan Nunes and Philippi are in for their softs, and slowly but surely our leaders are going to reclaim their place at the top. So I think the main battle on track, isn't it? It is Ryan versus Giron right now. Dams versus High Tech. Well, I thought Ryan was going to have a big squirm out of 4 there. I heard the wheel spin, but he just kept it under control. Doc's lead, though.
I think the pit stops haven't changed much to do with the battle for first or second. It's more about the reverse grid pole battle. That's really going to showcase with the soft runners coming out in the midfield.
Yeah, the lead's been very much a holding pattern since the start, hasn't it? We've seen Jordan slip back. But other than that, this is pretty much the order that they were in. Doc, Giron switching places, and then Ryan moving up, and Jordan just falling behind them. So we got Dan Nunes is on, as you say, on currently in that spot for reverse grid pole. I don't think it will stay that way. His fresh softs are hungry for a pass on Londa Tim. I don't think the Carlin's going to have anything that he can defend this with. We'll see where Passez-Moi and Jav come out. I think Jav will be too far back to trouble reverse grid poles, so I think that this could be the Tim versus Cali for reverse grid pole if the UNI has anything to chase down the Carlin with, and that is the most academic pass you will see all day as Dan Nunes blasts past the Londa Tim going into the hairpin. We've seen a lot of easy DRS passes and Passez-Moi coming in. Sorry, Jack, you were just about to say something?
I'm curious as to why Jav stayed out for an extra lap. He must feel confident on the mediums, but you'd think by this stage it'd be much better to go into the pits.
I wonder if he knows that he doesn't necessarily have the best race pace under him, and he's thinking, what if there's a safety car lap 12, lap 13, one of those one lap safety cars at the end, if he can just nab a couple of free positions from it, or perhaps he just wants his moment of glory on stream. In the lead. I'm not going to indulge him by giving it to him. We're on board with Passez-Moi right now, who is chasing down reverse grid pole. No penalties.
Bit like me at Singapore.
Right, exactly. He's got Maverick ahead of him. Cali is currently the one on reverse grid pole, but De Tim has a penalty for speeding, as we saw earlier. Cali doesn't, which I think, by math served me well, does mean De Tim is on reverse grid pole right now. Maverick, I don't think has anything, is too far back. Passez-Moi, if he gets a move on with these softs, he might have a chance, because he also has no penalties, so
he could do. It's just I'm looking at the gap. He's 4 seconds behind 9th place. Ninth place is 4 seconds behind 8th, so by the time he catches them, you'd have to think his softs are quite worn.
I don't think they'll age as poorly as they would have done had he started on them with fuel burning off. But yeah, I think the last couple of laps he may struggle to make the early progress he is making. And Giron is continuing that weaving tactic. He keeps Ryan at bay with it. But I wonder if Ryan or Jordan are going to take a dim view of that and send that to the stewards, because really you can't. I know he's trying to break slipstream, he's not trying to defend his position per se, but you can't make those kind of moves as Jav does pit at last. You can't make those kind of moves continuously, and it seemed to be every single lap right now that Giron is weaving down the main straight, but he gets very wide through 2. He'll swing back and get a straighter line into 3. Ryan's having a big look at him. He'll try and cut back underneath, but Giron parks his car in the middle of the track, doesn't leave enough space for Ryan to slip it up the inside, and Ryan's going to have to wait another lap for that main straight, but he does look much quicker, much more confident, much more hungry for this place than Giron, who was really slipped back from his pole position place. Jordan, I have to say, is hanging on to them better than I thought he would. I thought he was going to fall back more after we saw him get overtaken 2 laps in a row. But tell you who you want to keep an eye out on. Dab Nunes, just at the fastest lap of the race, P5. 2.8 seconds behind Jordan. Jordan has a penalty. And he's only... What is he? 5 seconds behind Giron, who also has a penalty. 2 more seconds for Nunes in these last 4.5 laps. And he could be getting a podium here. It could be Doc, Ryan, Nunes. I don't want to tempt fate, but he's in a very good position.
Note, I've been looking at Jerome, and he's been. You said how he's been a lot more ambitious going through the final corner. He's on 2 warnings right now, so 1 more warning. He's got 6 seconds, which could drop him really far down the field.
And he's weaving again down the straight, and it works for him. It breaks the toe just enough that Ryan can't get alongside to send the move, but Ryan will be getting really frustrated. I know I would. If I was in that high tech, I would be getting very angry right now, as Jerome has a squirm coming out of the last corner, but it's not enough to give Ryan a chance, and Jav passes Serial Killer on his fresh softs. Again, Ryan just can't get close enough into turn 1. He can't get close enough into 14. Can't get close enough into turn 1, although Jerome goes very deep again. He likes that. I'm not sure if he's making mistakes or if he just really likes that wide line. He's going to try and run Ryan out of track here, just ease his car to the right side of the track, and he does. And Ryan again has to settle for the position. He doesn't need this fight, does Ryan? He's got that penalty in hand, but you have to think, if you're in Ryan's position, you want this position on a matter of principle. You don't want to lose out to this guy who you're quicker than, you can beat him, and he's weaving left, right and centre down the straights. I have to say I'm not a fan of that, but it's up to the stewards and if anyone reports it. And Nunes now 2.2 behind Jordan, so that gap is coming down quite rapidly. And of course, the more Jerome and Ryan fight, the more it brings his MP into play, and Jerome has another wriggle out of 11 towards 12.
This could be the run,
I think you might be right. I think Ryan is closer than he's looked at any point. It's 0.4 of a second across the DRS activation point. He takes a tight line through 13. He might. Have you seen something there?
I was just looking at. I think it seemed like Jerome slowed down a bit. Ryan had to let off going around the corner. It's very. I hope that wasn't on purpose.
I wonder if he's just took the wrong line, because it's easy in these cars to make that kind of mistake where if you just get a bit of understeer, it forces you to back out. Jerome fights the place hard, goes very deep, but at last his resistance is broken, and Ryan finally, after many laps of sweat, is up into P2, and I think he's going to give Jerome a bit of his own medicine here, and he's weaving down the straight. Ryan, I think, showing he's not impressed, but it may have cost him because he's gone wide. He had to take a tight line into 1. It set him up very deep through 2. And again, is Ryan just going to shape to force the dams wide like Jerome did? I think so. But Jerome will have a straight exit out of 4.
That was very much a reversal of roles, wasn't it, there? We saw Jerome do the exact same thing, go very deep. As he goes pretty deep there and makes contact with the back wheel. Very lucky to not get damaged, but I think Ryan finally got to the position that he's looked like he was always going to get anyway.
No quarter asked and no quarter given between those two, though. I think that was not a love tap from Jerome. I think he was saying, hey up, I can do it to you, but hey, how dare you do that? How dare you weave to me?
Jordan Nunes now is only 4 attempts behind Jerome.
And Nunes is 1.3 behind Jordan.
Well, this is going to get interesting. He's not got a penalty either. Jordan's looking a lot faster. He struggled a bit. I wonder if he was saving his tyres, because he's got a lot of life all of a sudden.
I wonder how much that turn 1, 2, 3 actually cost Ryan and Jerome, because I have a feeling it was probably a second or so. And is Ryan going to weave? He shapes to the left to take the race in line, and he has a little wriggle towards the braking zone. That is not. That's well, I won't say it's dirty, but it's not clean. And Jerome has the inside line, but Ryan is going to get with that wide line. He's going to get a straighter exit towards the last corner, and he takes it nicely. Both of them go very deep through the last corner, and Jerome, again, he's got the DRS. He's going to go around the outside this time. Ryan will send him as far left as he possibly can. And Jerome cuts across him, and
Jerome's Ryan sideways, sorry, and now Jordan Jordan's looking to get a move himself.
I think Giron just wasn't expecting Ryan to be there. He thought he had more of an advantage than he did with that wide line. He came across the apex of the corner, and Ryan was still there saying, "Excuse me, I'm on this racetrack as well." And he was very lucky, Ryan, that he didn't go full 180 and find himself with his rear wheels overtaking the front.
And this is interesting because Dab Noons, like you said, I think that pace drop-off is just coming at the time he didn't want it to. He's struggling to keep up now. But Jordan, obviously Ryan's not got a penalty, but if he picks up one on this lap, you could find Jordan find himself on a podium somehow.
I think there's every... I don't want to call, even with 1.5 laps left, how this race is going to end. I mean, I think we can safely say that Doc has won it. His lead is now stretched 8.8 seconds, 8.9. He's grown it by 5 seconds since the pit stops, more than that even. So the gap between Giron and Ryan is 0.4 of a second, 0.5 of a second coming onto the back straight. I think Giron got a straighter exit off turn 13. And again, that's really extreme weaving. I'm not sure. He'll say he's just breaking the slipstream, but you can't do this lap after lap after lap. It's not on. I don't know how you feel about it, if you think that's an acceptable way of driving, as Hayden crashes at turn 4. I think he just dropped it, lit up the rear wheels there and dropped it, and Ryan is not close enough going into the last lap to have a go into turn 1.
I would think if you're Ryan now, 1 lap to go, you had the danger of almost having a spin last lap. I think the safest thing would be to sit behind your own, secure the second place on a penalty, not risk Jordan being able to capitalise.
I think you're absolutely right. It's a matter of pride for Ryan, perhaps, to get past Giron after seeing that weaving, but it's not worth. Your pride isn't worth losing all those points over potentially if there's some kind of incident or spin at that hairpin. He should. Oh, Giron's had a big moment.
Oh, he's moved across him again there, and I'm not sure. Ryan seems to be taking no risk because he could have got past him there. And it's a shame.
I think Ryan agrees with you. He just decided this is not worth it, much as I want it, and has just contented himself to stay in P3. But Giron was lucky; he did not drop that completely. It was very similar to what we saw. Who was it that dropped it there early in the race?
The Tim's just got another penalty, and that could put Lars, into reverse grid pole.
Oh.
He's just picked up a second penalty, and Lars is 6.2 behind.
But he's 10 seconds behind the Tim, 6.2 behind Passomar.
6.2 behind 8.
I wonder if that was tactical from the Tim. It could end up putting him into the reverse grid pole, but we've not talked about him for ages. But VTI Doc crosses the line and he wins the feature race in Shanghai by a mammoth margin. He extends his lead in the championship. It's going to be Giron on track in the dams for P2. Ryan is third, but he'll take second. Nunes, with that reverse strategy, moves himself into P3, so it slips down. Giron fourth, Jordan fifth, Cali sixth, Passé-Moi, and that could well have been a tactical penalty for London Tim, because he is in P8 on reverse grid pole. It's going to be Lars ninth, Maverick 10th, who'll fall behind Jav on penalties. Serial Killer is going to be 12th in the other ART, and Polizzi Alex for Carlin and Philippi, who is some way back, along with Ibo, are going to complete this race. But 11.1 seconds in the end, the margin for VTI Doc, and you have to say that is a statement of intent if he wants to win this championship. Already in the lead by 9 points, he has just extended his lead, I think, at least over Rocky Road, by another 25.
Yeah, that brings now 3 wins in 5 races so far for Doc, including the sprint races. And one of those is also a second, so he's the lowest points that he's had from any race has been 7 points in the sprint race. He's looking very dominant at the moment, and it's a shame Rocky wasn't here to keep it close.
He's been absolutely faultless as well. He's not just quick; it's quickness and consistency and a calm presence of mind on the track, and he seems to have that. He does not make mistakes. In Brazil, he made one where he nearly dropped it, or did drop it under the safety car. But other than that, he was faultless the whole event, and he's done it again today. he just looks so calm and assured. He's just got the mentality to go with that pace, because you see so many drivers in league racing who have pace, they don't necessarily have the temperament or the presence of mind to go with it. But VTI Doc, at least in F2, absolutely looks completely assured of himself, and a fabulously deserved win today. And again, for the fellow podium drivers, Ryan B and Dan Nunes had absolutely superb races. I think you'll agree.
Oh, definitely. Dab Nunes especially, we don't talk about him much, but this race will now put him second into the championship so far, due to Raccoon not being here.
So, and from 9th on the grid as well. So we were saying about the Alt Strat, could it work? It worked very well there. Jerome and Jordan, I don't think they did too much wrong this race in terms of their speed, but they'll be a bit. I think both will be a bit miffed as to how neither has ended up on the podium. Those 3-second pens, of course, ultimately proving very costly for both. So it's Vitaly Doc who wins, Ryan B second, Nunes third, Giron fourth, ISRL Jordan fifth, and Cali sixth, the two UNIs. Passé-Moi in seventh, Landa Tim gets reverse grid pole in eighth, Lars ninth, Jav 10th. Very quiet but good race from him to make up 3 places. Maverick slips down 1 to 11th, Serial Killer 12th, Blitzy Alex 13th, Philippi 14th, and the two Tridents of Ibo and Hayden 15th and 16th. Very entertaining race, but we've got a sprint race to come, and I have no idea what the weather's going to be. I wouldn't mind to see a little bit of rain, or maybe perhaps see a safety car at some point. I never wish crashes, but they can throw a bit of spice into the race. Doesn't look like we're getting any rain though. It's extremely clear out there.
Well, I'll tell you, during this little gap between the races, I'll ask your opinion on it. What did Tim, you saying how he could potentially have tried to get himself into a reverse grid pole, what's your opinion on potentially sabotaging, say, 6th or 5th place in the feature to get that reverse grid pole? Do you think it's worth it, or do you think the points in the feature are the priority?
I think it's track dependent, and also it's personal preference whether you care more about winning a sprint race or getting more points. If you're not really fighting for anything in the championship and you just want the win, then by all means aim for 8th. I don't think it's something that should be encouraged weekly. Mind. I mean, I think whether pole at sprint race is advantageous really depends on track. Somewhere like Belgium, it's not worth the trouble trying to get P8 because there's every chance you could find yourself in 4th by Lecom. But last season I had sprint race pole or sprint race P2 at Monaco, and then as soon as I got into the lead, no one was able to get past me, and there wasn't really much of a chance for anyone to do so anyway. So even though I didn't have the speed, so I think it's quite track dependent as to whether you should aim for P8 or whether you should go for more. I mean, ultimately you've always got to say go for more points. I think that is the logical thing. Always take as many points as you can get. But I think into Tim's case, whether that pen was deliberate or not, if it was an accidental one, I don't judge him either way. It's not my job to judge, but it's worked for him because he is 8th, and I think Passé-Moi had some decent speed last race as well that was kind of curtailed by a poor start where he lost a few places on the first lap. So I think both of these guys who've got, as Ibo and Alex, are disqualified. That is suboptimal. But yeah, I think both of the guys on the front row, and Cali as well, who had a very good sprint race at Brazil, all of them can really hold their own against Jordan, Giron, Dan Nunes, Ryan, and Vitaly Doc from behind, even though on pace at least they seem to be slower. But yeah.
I think so a driver like Jordan, he found himself, I think he dropped 4 or 5 positions it were on the hairpin, and most drivers who will lose a position will more than likely fight for or get it back on the next DRS straight going into turn 1, and I don't think Jordan was able to capitalise on that too well.
Well, Jordan had a mammoth start, didn't he, in the feature race, so we'll see how he gets on this time. If he can get a good start, if he gains as many places as he did last time, he'll be into P2. As Giron's backing up a little bit, I wonder if he wants those tyres to be, of the leaders in front of him, to be a little more cold. Nunes passes him. And they'll slip into AI now. So, or Giron is catching up. So, I find it bizarre when drivers try and leave gaps, as Nunes is doing here. He left a very big gap to Giron. Just stop playing silly little games and get on with the game, as it were.
They're trying to get that extra 2 degrees Celsius onto their tyres. I think this will be an interesting showcase for Doc. We can really see his true pace, see if we can, because we saw him at the front the whole race. We'll get some action of seeing him actually fighting through people now.
I, for one, cannot wait. So for the second time today, we are about to go racing in Shanghai. It's the Tim on pole on the right side of your screen. We have 5 lights and we are underway in China. And Jordan again gets an excellent start. It looks like right through the middle. He is going to be up into P2. He has the inside line. Is he going to pass his teammate Callie into turn 1? Callie just holds off. So it's Tim that leads from Callie, from Giron. But Callie goes very deep and Jordan is up the inside. And again, he's made the most of that start and he's fighting it out at the front. The 2 down squabbling behind of Giron and Passemar. Passemar just sent out wide a little bit and now he finds himself in Ryan's clutches. And Callie just holds on, I think, from Jordan, who couldn't make the most of that. And in fact, Giron goes to
Alex's round.
We've got Alex round at the back, but Giron is past Jordan into P3. So I thought Jordan was going to be in second at one point. He finds himself down into 4th, and he's now wheel to wheel with Giron through turn 7. Giron has the inside line for 8. Jordan has to back out. So it's to Tim, Callie, Giron, Jordan, Passemar, Ryan, and Doc is down 1 place into P9, and we've got 3 cars side by side through turn 10. It's Ryan, Passemar, Dam, Nunes, and Nunes could take 2 places here. In fact, he has. He's taken Passemar. He's going to take Jordan, I think, into the hairpin, and they bump wheels. A bit of argy-bargy through 11. Ryan will try and run him wide, and that's compromised Nunes. Is Moir going to get him back here? London Tim in all of this is broken away by over a second. So it's the battle for 6th we're looking at. We've got Nunes trailing Ryan, trailing with Passemar trailing him, and then Jav only a 10th behind as well. A good start for the Spaniard. And Doc down 1 place to P9, and Passemar switches very late. He's up into 9th. We've got a penalty. We've got Jav round.
Ooh, Ryan, Dab News has hit the back of Ryan, and I think he could have wing damage there. No, I think he's gotten away with it.
Yeah, I think you're right. He's just got away with it. Passemar very wide at the last corner. Doc has made 2 places up in this, and now he's got a run on Moir to take 6th. So after losing 1 place, he could be about to get 3 back. He has the inside line. Passemar leaves it, the door open, and they touch wheels. Doc nearly spun round. Nunes up the inside of Maverick. Lars is going to try and pinch both of them through 3, but he's just hung out to dry a little bit. He's out on the outside of the American Maverick. He'll have a straighter line, a quicker line through 4. They're side by side through the kink of 5. Is Doc going to have a chance at Passemar? I think so. He sends it very late. Again, Moir leaves the door open, and Doc takes the inside and takes 8th place or 7th. He's in 7th. This is the battle for 7th. My timing glitch. Oh, excuse me, I do apologize. No, it's the battle for 6th. It is for 6th. It is for 6th. It's De Tim first, Giron second, Callie third, Jordan 4th, Ryan 5th, Passemar 6th. So he has gained those places back, but he's now over a second behind Ryan. Passemar is behind him with Nunes in P8, who so that madness from last lap has settled down a little bit, but Lars goes very deep on Maverick, and he just does well. He did well to back out of that, and now Lars has the inside line, and they'll bump wheels through 13. And Lars barges him out of the way. He had elbows out there, and he claimed that place. He'll now try and shift across the track to break that slipstream. And up ahead, Nunes has got the run on Passemar as well. But we'll look back to Lars and Maverick, who are going side by side into 14. They break nearly identical same moment, but Maverick has the inside. Maverick takes the position. That's P9. And yes,
There's been fights all over the place.
This has been cracking stuff.
This will be interesting now, because Jerome made his way through. He's into 2nd place. We saw how fast he was in the feature race, and De Tim, we're not saying he was slow, but he wasn't quite up there with the top 4. So this could be Jerome's chance to catch De Tim, possibly get a first before Doc can climb his way up.
De Tim was eking out that lead a little bit, though. He extended it by a couple of tenths through 1, 2, and 3, although it slipped back to 2 seconds. But yeah, we've got Jordan, Ryan, Doc is going to catch in these very quickly, thanks to the train. I think we could be seeing the same battle play out that we saw earlier on, just with Callie thrown into the middle of it. But Girone isn't making an impression right now on De Tim, is he? It's 2 seconds, and it's been that way all laps so far. De Tim actually looks comfortable, you have to say, so far. It's 2.1 now.
Yeah, De Tim was a Division 1 driver last season, and he showed some promise in a lot of
Girone's
races.
round, Girone's out.
Oh no! Oh, he's completely gone.
Completely dropped it out of the double right-hander. His car swung off on traction, and he had nothing he could do about that. He just was too greedy on the throttle, and that's ruined his car. And we have a safety car. Is anyone going to fancy a pit stop to a set of softs? I think we're a bit early for that. For anyone to try it.
It'd be interesting to see. I don't think you get another set of mediums. It wouldn't be worth going on a fresh set.
Well, Jav has switched to another set of mediums, but they'll be the mediums he ran the feature race with, so he's going to have to pit again, surely.
And he stayed out longer than everybody else in the feature race.
Yeah, so the tyres he's put on have done 14 laps. Well, 11 laps. They've done 11 laps. So this is their 12th lap now.
I'm wondering quite what his strategy is on this one.
Unless he was unaware he only got 2 sets of mediums, but
Wait, has he come back out?
No,
it says he's only done 2 laps on these mediums.
Do
you get another set of mediums?
Unless he started the race on the mediums he ended the feature on, but he should only have 2 sets. But let's just take stock under the safety car as De Tim is about to catch up to it. So De Tim does lead from pole position. His 2-second lead is wiped out. Callie is now second after Girone's crash. Jordan is third. Ryan B is fourth. VTI Doc, after losing a place on lap 1, is now up into P5. Passez-moi is 6th. Nunez is 7th. I think he's exactly where he started. We'll have a little look right now. So Nunez is down 1 place. Passez-moi down 4. Did really struggle from that front row start. Maverick is 8th. Lars 9th. Serial Killer 10th. Philippi 11th. Hayden 12th. Ibo 13th. Alex 14th. Jav. He's out there a minute off the lead.
He's so far behind.
I wonder if this could delay the safety car coming in as well, because we've got Alex as well who is out there, and the game might not want to restart with 2 cars.
Alex is going into the pit as well. I'm thinking here. So this is one going to keep the safety car up for a long time, but also obviously with the Delta,
Doc's disconnected. Doc's disconnected. Well, he's lucky we're under. He's lucky he's under SC because he'll have a solid 3-4 minutes here to get back in. But sorry, Jack, go on.
Oh, I was just thinking the Delta isn't there. Obviously, if you're that far behind, you can go full race speed to catch back up. Is the wear that he saved just gonna get worn off anyway for him catching back up to the group? Because everyone else will be saving tyre wear by just scrolling.
Yeah, because Jav is going to have to go, and Alex as well is going to have to go flat out for 2-3 laps here to catch up with the pit stops and shenanigans as well. So, you know,
they could ironically find themselves on more worn tyres than the people who've just stayed out.
I personally would have, if I was Hayden or Ibo this lap, I would have come in for softs. I would have come in for a set of softs that lap, and because you know it's going to be another lap as Doc gets back in, thankfully. But they got a huge gap behind. They could have just gone on some softs and run to the end. But yeah, Jav is going to have to go. What is the gap? Let's have a look. He's 71 seconds off Ibo, and I think he's being held to a delta right now, as he's going very slow through 13. And if the game's holding him to a delta, which I think it is, yeah, he's gonna be an age before he catches up. So safety car's just going to go without him, because if it's not coming in this lap, it will come in next lap.
Yeah, I'm looking at Alex as well just to see if it's a Jav problem. He's also slowing down a lot, so I think the game's holding him to a delta, which is going to really hold them back.
I think they might be back up to full speed now, because my timing tower just is glitched on interval and leader. So I think that oh no, just slowing down at the last corner. So they are being held to delta. He should be able to go once he crosses the line, and I think he
I think he is, but I wonder, safety car, is it going to come in this lap? I hope so.
I hope so we can get some racing, because this front group, if it's anything to do with the feature, the Tim, Callie, Jordan, Ryan, Doc, that's going to be some scrap for first place.
This is going to be spicy. But I don't think it is. I think it is waiting for one of Jav or Alex, but it will definitely be in the next lap if it's not this lap. If it is going to go in this lap, it will have to go now, but that is not happening. So we have another lap down safety car. So Tim, Callie, Jordan, that is your front three. And I think Tim will be very grateful that he's got Callie as a buffer of around similar pace behind him to back up Jordan, Ryan, Doc, Moi and Nunes for at least a lap or two. Because I think if you're into Tim's position and you have Jordan or Ryan or Doc behind you, you're going to be a little bit intimidated, I think. Because he would have seen last race, he's not on the level of those guys' pace. So
if you're Callie and Jordan, Callie knows Jordan has the pace to get to the front more than Callie, based off the feature. Do you as a team let Jordan through? Or if you're Callie, do you say, screw that, I want to go for a win?
I don't think you can. In a sprint race with, it's going to have 6 laps left at the end of this one, you got to find out. We're only on round 3 of the championship, and Callie has proven the Brazil sprint race. He can race really well. He's got pace. And I think you don't want to be giving places to your teammate willy-nilly. For the sake of it, Jordan is ahead of Ryan, he's ahead of Doc, he's ahead of Nunes. He's ahead of all those guys. So I think it would be salt in Callie's wounds a little bit to then deny Callie the chance to get on their coattails just to let Jordan through so he can make a couple of extra points. I would feel aggrieved if I were Callie if Jordan said, let me go through. But, I'm not in their heads.
Jordan, I don't think he's that kind of man, but it will be interesting to see the championship because of Rocket Raccoon being gone. There are 6 drivers that could jump in this race, and they're all fighting near the top.
And we have safety car in this lap. So, when is the Tim going to go? Because the lights are out on safety car now, so the Tim is the effective safety car between now and the start-finish line from when the drivers can overtake. So until then, he'll back up the cars, take them as slow or as fast as he wants to. It's his prerogative, the pace he leads the field around, and he's going quite slow. So we'll let safety car get away. The field will be limited in speed at how fast they can go. And again, that pace will be dictated by Tim. So will he go before the hairpin or after? Before the last corner or after? If I was him, I'd want to go just before the last corner, so he can really dictate how good that exit is off the last corner and scamper away from Callie. We'll see when he goes. So he's not going before the hairpin. He's just holding the field up as much as he wants to. And I think he's gone. He's gone out. He's gone out of the corner and he's caught Callie napping already 6/10 of a second behind. We'll see how good they are through the final corner. Callie goes a little bit deep. He looked nervous through the last corner there, California, and it's given to Tim.
Really got caught napping.
It's given Tim the rush, and as you say, Ryan really napping. Doc is less than 0.2 of a second behind him. Ryan can't afford to make a mistake through this entire turn 1, 2, 3 complex, but he goes very deep, and that does give Doc the incentive. He's up the inside into 2, straight line it towards 3, and then Doc will try and come back underneath. He'll get the run through the kink of 5 and onto 6. No DRS, of course, down here. No KERS or ERS or anything. But I don't think Doc needs it. He brakes late. He pulls to the inside. He mounts the curb. He rides it as much as he can. And, I think Ryan is going to have to back out of this through 7. And he is, but they touch wheels.
Contact was made.
I think Doc could easily have been spun around there. I'm not sure why Ryan pressed himself that close to the inside. I think the place was gone. There was no way he was pulling that back because Doc had the quicker outside line. And the high-tech is relegated to P5. Doc up into 4th from 8th on the grid. Our feature race winner has a sprint race podium in his sights. And, Callie has wrestled the Tim back into his clutches. He's back under 0.7 of a second after Tim had that great restart. But it's been, for a F2 safety car restart in a sprint race, I think that went quite well, all things considered. And we'll see Callie has got a great run onto Tim down towards the... I think he pulls out the slipstream, moves to the left-hand side. He'll try and cut back under, I think. But he goes too deep. He's forced out wide. He can't. He doesn't have the room to cut under to Tim. And he'll just have to settle for second place there. I think Callie went a little too deep, and he didn't have the opportunity to make that switchback. And, you said about Jordan. Would Callie let his teammate through? Jordan is nowhere here. He's 7/10 behind. Callie's all over to Tim. Jordan is just in no man's land, and he could find himself under threat from Doc anytime soon.
Yeah, he could, and I've just noticed it's the last sector Jordan's really struggling.
Sorry. Nunes and Passé-Moi bump wheels through too. We're seeing a lot of that. Drivers go deep into one, someone cuts back up the inside, and they bump into two, and side by side through 2 and 3. They still side by side through the kink of 5, I think, and that was a really nice switchback from Nunes, but he didn't have the confidence on the brakes, although he still tries to hang it out, and he nearly spins Passé-Moi around. And Maverick's coming up the inside. Maverick's round. How the hell did he hang on to that?
And Lars has taken advantage.
Lars goes through. Oh, I need to see that again from Nunes' point of view. How the hell did Maverick hold on to that? That was gutsy from the pair of them, and it's let Passé-Moi get away. But
Maverick's very lucky to have got away with no damage there.
And Lars is going for it. Lars is going for it into T11. He'll brake late. But he made the apex nicely, and he straight lines the corner in a way that cut Nunes out of any chance for a switchback. And now Nunes has been pushed wide by that, and Maverick retakes P8, cracking racing here. We'll quickly go to the front because Doc has got a run on Jordan. Is our feature race winner going to be back into the podium places? And he is. He brakes very late, but
he's so confident.
He looks so assured on the brakes as Doc. He'll brake later and still make the apex. But back to Maverick, Lars, and I caught that late, I apologise, but Maverick into the wall. Passé-Moi dropped it by himself, I think. I think Passé-Moi and it was on one side, Maverick on the other, and Lars was just pincered between them. Who's that? It's Philippi that's dropped it by himself at the last corner as well.
Lars has got left end plate damage. He's not got a left end plate.
There's so many incidents to unpack this lap. I'm not sure what happened to any of them, but you're right, and Jav pushes Maverick through turn 2. But what was your view of all that?
It honestly looked like it was just 3 people trying to get around a 2-person corner, and unfortunately one person was going to go. It ended up being 2. But looking at Lars, I don't think anyone's come out of this unscathed, because this is one you really do not want wing damage on.
It's done Serial Killer a world of good, hasn't it? It's put him into a comfy little P7. Lars, Maverick, Passé-Moi, the ones involved in that. Passé-Moi down from 2nd to 12th now, as we've turned to the battle for the lead. So we've got Callie is bottlenecking Jordan and Doc here. Doc is much closer to Jordan than Jordan is to Callie, mind. We'll see how good a run, and I think Doc's got quite a good run out of turn 13. But is anyone going to weave? Is anyone fancying a little weave down the main straight?
I weren't saying that since someone DNF'd earlier on in the race, but I've noticed now, as Doc's going to go for a move on Jordan, Jordan's really struggling in this last sector. He's catching Callie by most of the lap, and then his exit coming onto the straight as Doc's done the cutback.
Doc's going to have the better line through the last corner. I think he can get the car straighter sooner, but he backed out of it. But he'll have DRS. He has the better exit, as I say, because he took that straighter line, that wider line through the last corner. Is Jordan going to go deep, and is Doc going to try switch back through 2? Yeah, again, we've seen the lead car go deep through 1 often, and then the car behind will just bide their time for the inside of 2, which is exactly what Doc does. He'll hang it around the outside. He'll be able to get on the throttle quicker. And he takes a very wide line through 4. He'll try and...
We've seen how confident Doc is into this corner, though. He brakes very late going for the move.
And I think
that's
exactly what he does. I think what he does is he brakes early, lets off the brake a little, lets the car roll, and then engages the brake again. Well, that's what it sounds like anyway.
Jordan's coming back, though. They're side by side. Jordan's touched the grass. He's had to let off.
Yep, Jordan was trying to take a too tight line through 7. Nearly gave Ryan a free position as well. Just caught the end of that. Jordan kicking up a huge amount of dust there. But so this front five now has a 3.7 second lead over Nunes, who is, I think it's safe to say, all by himself. He's got a 2 second gap behind and a 3.5 second gap ahead. Is Maverick and Jav. Maverick passes Jav. I wonder if Jav let him go there. It looked like Jav just eased off the throttle. So we've got a tasty little four-way battle here. And another one for second. Is Doc going to make a second place here on Cali?
I think Jordan's going to lose another position to Ryan here. Ryan's lap times have been very good. He's going to go for the move, I think, onto the hairpin.
You're absolutely right. That was very nice from Ryan. He reached the apex well, slowed the car down, claimed the corner, and Jordan had nothing to answer him with. And like in the feature race, Jordan is just minding his own business, isn't he? He's making slow but assured progress. Doc is now about to go into P2 as we enter the penultimate lap, and he's recovered from P9 at the end of lap 1 to second. I think almost this has been a stunning comeback from the Irishman, from our championship leader. Still, Cali is fighting this one. He'll have the inside line for 3, but Doc is ahead. He's got the corner. Cali's hanging it out as much as he can. But again, like with Jordan on the last lap, Doc just taking that wide line through 4 is giving him so much extra speed down the run through the kink of 5 towards 6. So that is second place for Doc.
He's done exactly what you just said. He just to defend as well. He brakes a little bit early, then just lets it roll into the corner. And he's held him back. And if you're the Tim now, you must be worried. He's just been coasting him first, and now Doc's got past everyone else, and he's got a lap and a half to charge you down.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that gap. It's 1.5 seconds, as you say, with a lap and a half to go. The third podium place is very much up for grabs, but I think Cali is going to be saved this lap because he'll still have DRS from Doc, so that will deny Ryan and Jordan a chance for this lap at least. But we'll see how it goes next time around. Let's return to the Jav Maverick Hayden battle. So we've got we've got a three-way battle for P8. Jav is having a really tidy race, isn't he? He's got a penalty, but he's sitting quite comfortably in 8th right now. Maverick goes really wide out of 13. That's not going to do him any favours. I don't think it's cost him too much, but he's not close enough to Jav. If he's going to go for it, he's going to have to go for it on the last lap. And all these guys have penalties, so but Jav has 10 seconds worth. I'm not sure where he got those from. So
if you look at Dab Nunes, what's he been doing this race? He's just chilling in the middle, the poor guy.
He is vibing. I wouldn't be surprised if he's kicked back, put some music on. He's got his PlayStation Spotify playing, and he is just vibing that car all the way to the finish of the race. He's not really done anything. He's not.
Doc almost lost it coming out of turn 4. Then is it?
Yeah, turn 4. But we've got Jav and Maverick side by side through 2. Passez-moi bumping both of them into 3. Jav, he's pincered right in the middle of them. He'll have the inside line for 4. Will he tuck under the slipstream? He's got too much of a run, I think, on Maverick to even get into his slipstream. Will he switch back to the inside for 6? Maverick parks his car very nicely in the middle of the track. Jav will push him through the apex. Passez-moi will be wondering, how on earth am I fighting with these two after starting in P2? So Doc, is he in DRS? It's 1.1. He needs the mother of all chicanes here through 11 and 12, or 12 and 13, to get into that.
I think he's in.
Yeah, he's absolutely straight-lined that chicane is to get
also,
the DRS.
Ryan's looking like he could get the run for the podium here.
But I think Cali's just nabbed DRS off Ryan, but we'll have a look. Doc isn't close enough. He's not closing. He can brake late all he likes, but he's not going to make this stick. He's got nothing. Tim, he goes a little bit deep, but he holds on to the position. Doc has a big squirm, and he nearly drops it a second time. But to Tim, like Doc in the feature race, hasn't put a foot wrong, and he takes the sprint race win from pole position by 0.8 of a second from Doc. A great recovery from our championship leader. Cali is 3rd, Ryan 4th, only 0.1 of a second down. Jordan 5th, Nunes 6th, Serial Killer 7th. Jav and Maverick and Passez-moi still fighting through the last corner, and they'll cross the line, nearly line astern. But it's Hayden who takes P8 in the end on penalties. Maverick 9th, Passez-moi 10th after starting in the front row. Jav 11th, Alex 11th, Jav 12th, Philippi, Ibo and Lars we will wait for. Ibo is going to jump Philippi on Pence, who completely ignores the last corner. And we're waiting for Lars, who was involved in that tangle earlier on, whether he got wing damage and had to come in, put on a set of softs. But
you have to say, as impressive as Doc, Callie, Ryan, Jordan looked, their pace, their scrapping, the team did a really professional job. He just sat in first, he didn't get in any bother.
He didn't let the guys behind him pressure him into mistakes, did he? And you have to say he dealt with that safety car really well, because other people might get flustered. You know, they had a 2-second lead, looked comfortable. Doc was further down as well. He was in P5 or wherever he was, and Tim had that little buffer, and the safety car just wiped that out. It took away his cushion that he had, and he still dealt with it with immeasurable professionalism, as you say. He just did a really solid job. And he didn't let himself get flustered on that last lap. He could easily have gone really deep into the hairpin and let that place slip away from him, but he didn't. He was very
he did
calm.
really well. I think we'd like Excel Dillon to maybe take notes on how to keep hold of a first place.
Oh, I wondered if we were going to get through this penalty without Jack throwing some shade, and there we go. Excel Dillon, what have you got to say to this man? But
1v1 me and Rust.
So Vitaly Doc, I think he deserves a shout out as well. He's been tremendous both races, first and second. And if that isn't a champion's performance today, I don't know what is. Really nearly taking the double win as well, which is something you never see in F2. But I'll quickly run through the results again as we finish. So we got to Tim first, Doc second, Callie third, from third on the grid. Very comfortable drive from him. He did well, stayed out of all the dramas and shenanigans, didn't get into too much bother. Ryan up from 7th to 4th. Jordan again having a low-key race despite having good pace. Nunez is 6th, boring race for him. Serial Killer 7th, Hayden 8th. He did really well to jump up from the back of the grid to P8. Maverick 9th, Passé Moir 10th from the front row, Alex 11th, Jav 12th, Ibo 13th, Philippi 14th, Lars 15th, and Jerome, our only DNFer in the sprint race after having that mistake out of turn 6 and sending it into the wall. And that safety car that, I didn't say it changed the shape of the race, but it certainly made those last few laps very interesting, particularly at that restart.
Definitely, and I think maybe the Tim might have a great thank you to Jav and Alex for keeping the safety car out for an extra 15,000 laps.
I should have checked how many pit stops Jav and Alex made that race. I'm sure it was, I hope it was single digits. I'd like to say that, well, it's an enjoyable race, but in terms of the championship, I think it's heading in one direction right now, because Doc has extended his lead by a monumental amount. Of course, Rocky Road will have slipped down quite a distance due to being absent. But yeah, so even if our title fight isn't perhaps as close as we'd like, we are seeing great racing, which is absolutely fabulous to see. Do you have any final words, Jack, after your second week in the Combox?
Well, I think we're all F1 fans here. We should all be used to watching a battle for second now. We know the title fight's been gone for the last 7 years of watching Formula 1. So it's fun to... we know racing can be fun, even if first place is gone. But it only takes 1 week of Doc to not be here, and Rocky to bag some points, or maybe even Jerome, and things could be in the open again.
It's a trend with F2, isn't it? We see it with Toxic in Division 1. And we see it with Doc in Division 2. I thought Rocky was going to be Division 2's Toxic, but it's VTI Doc, and I mean, take nothing away from the man. He has been absolutely fabulous this season. A tremendous racer and a clean racer as well. For some of the moves he was pulling, he wasn't barging people out of the way, he wasn't bump passing them. It was good, clean, quick racing. And you have to say, I think he could find himself well up the D1 order in F2 next season, even if it's on the next game, because he has got serious pace.
Definitely. That just, if anything, it makes him a better version of Toxic because he's clean as well.
I'll just have to get some more shade in at the end. But thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this week's racing, and we will see you next week for more F2.